We're live. It's Sportskeeda Wrestle Binge. I'm Kevin Kellam. That is the living legend, a living magazine in his own right, Bill Apter.
Wow, I'm glad you. Thank you for putting me in the spotlight. And by the way, for you people that don't know Kevin Kellam, or Double K, as I call him, how long have you been reporting for Sportskeeda, Kev?
Oh wow, it was just over 5 years this past spring.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary. So I'm sitting in the Russo seat tonight, bro. You're not going to hear a lot of bros.
I'm in the Doc Featherstone seat.
Yeah. You're not going to hear a lot of bros from me. Can you do a Featherstone imitation?
Bro, I can do a bro. I can do a bro.
I think I can do a Featherstone.
I'll do a double buy. I know they do double buys. They do some double buy poses.
No, I want to try and do my Featherstone, which he's my partner on Unscripted, which you and I will be doing tomorrow night, as well, live at 11 p.m. Eastern time. But Dr. Chris likes that doesn't sound like him.
Also, for some people, don't worry. They're on vacation. They will be back.
Not together, by the way. They're not on vacation together.
It'd be great if they took a vacation.
So before we get into tonight's Raw, which was one of the longest Monday Night Raws on Netflix I've ever seen, most of the show tonight was. Oh, by the way, before we even talk about it, there's this great thing called Super Chats where you can interact with Double K and BA. Oh, like that? Let me do my Dusty Day. You could interact with Double K and BA if you will, baby.
If you will, baby.
Tell them how to do that, Double K.
Really easy. If you're with us on YouTube, you can see the Super Chat question right there. Super Chats go right to the front of the line. Support the channel. We get you right on camera with us here with your comments, and you drive the show. You could change the subject of the show as we're doing.
And your donations help keep things going as well.
Absolutely. An eventful Monday Night Raw. Would you say?
Yeah, but before we go into the eventful Monday Night Raw, this Raw was to promote the crown jewel that's taking place in Perth, Australia, this coming Saturday night their time. But Perth, by the way, is the birthplace of my ex-favorite roommate in the whole world, girl wrestler Susan Sexton. But we'll talk about that another time. However, what was unusual is usually they'll talk up where you can watch it, and they kept saying Netflix, but this is only going to be available in the United States on the ESPN streaming app. If you're in Europe, you can watch it on Netflix, but you got to pay for the ESPN app, and a lot of people are bitching and moaning to me that they don't want to pay another $31 on their cable bill or whatever to do this. And so, Double K, since you've been reporting such a long time, it seems that WWE or TKO, the parent company, is just making deals to funnel in the money. And I don't know. A lot of people are talking about that they're overly funneling in the money where the families can't afford it anymore. A lot of people can't afford another $31 a month on their cable bill to subscribe to another channel. What are your feelings about this? And you fans too. Like I said, you can get on a Super Chat and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know how you feel about it, because I've heard a lot of different opinions about this. Obviously, WWE is in a business, and they're going to do things that make themselves money.
Yeah, WWE and TKO, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm of the thought that if you let them go for it, they're going to go in that direction. Sure. I understand the concern though of pricing out families. And this isn't conflation or distraction. I feel this. We have a great Super Chat. You guys can get your Super Chats here on screen here from David Duffett. He says, Bret Hart throws out the opening pitch at the Yankee Stadium, which is wow. That's right during the playoffs. It's a big time to throw out a first pitch. But I've heard the same complaints from fans of Major League Baseball.
Wait a minute. I just want to go back to that Super Chat. And when he threw out that first ball, do you know what he said?
What did he say?
This is the best ball the first ball, the greatest ball of all time. Well, that's great. I'm glad to see you. And I'm here in the Pennsylvania
Mhm.
suburbs. Phillies lost again, but let's go back to the topic. Thank you for the super chat, and keep the super chats coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get on screen when you guys do the super chats with us. So thank you for that. Obviously, interesting time for WWE to go up against Monday Night Football, and you have Major League Baseball. So a lot of competition. And surprisingly, they're in Dallas, Texas. They did the earlier start last week of Netflix. And you have all these different jumpy starts. The thing is with Netflix, you're not tied to we have to start at a certain time.
No.
It's kind of confusing, but it's another thing you got to pay for. Going back to the ESPN pricing thing, you're bringing up this Yankee game, though. The price of just going to anything live now is through the roof. So the ticket prices were already high. So I thought WWE would stick with a tighter price point because, well over 10 years ago at this point, even just spending $20 a month, and if it was going right to WWE and you didn't have to go through all these other apps and all these different things, I've just heard a lot of people really, really upset with this.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people say that if Vincent McMahon was still running the company, even though he was a person who lived off money and just craved money, but he kept it pretty much affordable for the wrestling fans. So
I disagree with that, Bill. I really, really disagree with that because I really, really do. I'm not saying that he didn't keep it affordable or didn't focus on making sure you could come with a family of four to a WWE show, but I'm saying he was there when this deal was made with TKO, and he had to have some smell of how they were going to take this business.
I think he had very little say in the whole process at that point.
But I'm thinking if the deal's in front of him, he would take the deal. You know what I mean? He would go with an ESPN deal, and he would try and get it back to like a pay-per-view model that it feels
that is a possibility, but I don't know if he would have done what they've done within 2 years. Riyadh is going to have WrestleMania. That's a vacation hotspot that people in the United States have gone to every single year, and which they will in Vegas, but I don't think they're going to draw a lot of people from the United States into Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania in 2 years. And Royal Rumble is going to be there too.
Yeah, Royal Rumble will be there in January 2026, WrestleMania there in 2027.
Yeah.
Next year's WrestleMania in Las Vegas returning there. So a lot of shakeup with that. A lot of people saying that money drives these things, but I mean, did you not think they were in the wrestling business? Like that's the part where I'm thinking about. It was like everyone who's mad about this stuff. Did you not think they were in the wrestling business?
No. It's more of I'm putting the onus more on TKO, the people that run UFC. I think they're more of hey, we don't need to go to Las Vegas. These people are offering us this. That's what we're doing. Period. The end. There's no negotiation with WWE. They're the parent company now. WWE's got to follow along with what they want to do.
Other people talking about shill busting and these different things. Am I shilling for WWE? I wouldn't say that. No, I'm not. And here's the thing. I'll bring this up. You had Stephanie McMahon bring up VPNs, which was crazy. So before we get to Raw, we will talk about Raw because there's a lot of interesting things.
This is the Legion of Raw.
Yeah, we had CM Punk on there, but people brought up VPNs, and I haven't made that leap yet. A VPN, if you don't know, Bill, just those who are not technologically savvy, is basically something that would hide your IP address for your internet, wherever you're receiving your internet, and can just relocate it to another country. So I'm in Chicago, but my VPN would have my internet basically dropping in Canada, where there's different media streaming rights, and I would get everything on Netflix or something like that. And VPNs are available. Some people saying they have VPNs. I've heard more wrestling fans talk about VPNs since this flip over to ESPN.
You can't do it. You know why?
Why?
You're in Chicago, right?
Yes.
The National Guard will come and get you.
Oh no! Don't even get me started with that. I don't need tear gas and throw.
Well, let's go over SmackDown. I'm sorry, Monday Night Raw. And again, if you fans if you want to talk about SmackDown, we can do that too. But if you fans have a super chat question, just click that super chat, and we'll put you on the screen right away. We'll interrupt what we're doing to get your name on the screen.
Absolutely. lay those super chats in. We'll get them in here. Want to know your general take here on what's going on. For
So
those
why don't we go over why don't you guide us through tonight's Monday Night Raw, Double
big
K?
parts of Monday Night Raw, big main event, CM Punk tag teaming, odd fellows, really not getting along with LA Knight, something he's been jockeying position for quite some time, against the not getting along Jimmy and Jey Uso, who are fighting to feel like they're the next Roman Reigns, with Roman Reigns on this show, kind of both getting in their ears, both getting in their faces, creating a very interesting dynamic. I'm not saying it's super interesting, but the most interesting I feel that Roman Reigns has been since WrestleMania. I'll give him that. And that opens the show and closes the show. We have a tag team match where LA Knight steals the pinfall victory. And maybe the
I
biggest...
was going to say, let's hold up and just go in order of the show here. But that very beginning with Roman Reigns, and then it's unusual, but you've got 4 baby faces here. The Usos, LA Knight, CM Punk here, and I'm finding this extremely intriguing where they're going with this. I really do. I feel that at that beginning segment, that LA Knight, he didn't do his usual shtick and going up on the ropes and LA Knight, that whole thing. And so I think LA Knight is kind of like on the road to becoming more of a heel. I'm going to call him a heel baby face. He
like a tweener?
seemed more aggravating to me than any of the other ones did in the ring there. And by the way, one thing I'm going to mention, and I probably shouldn't mention this, but I want your take on this. You see how perfect CM Punk's hair is?
Yes. What a pompadour. I have a note about his hair. I wrote a note down about his hair.
Me too.
Johnny Neutron. He's got
Is
Johnny Neutron hair.
Do you think it's real, or is it a little?
I've heard a lot of people say that he doesn't have real hair, and I'm everyone thinks, oh, you're in Chicago, so you must know CM Punk. I've met him twice in my entire life. I've never had a conversation with him. The hair looks legit, dude. All right, okay. I can just tell you, he's got, as a bald man, I'm telling you, he's got real hair. That's all I'm saying.
All right. But I thought that segment was a good segment to set up for the rest of the show. I like what LA Knight is doing. I think the interaction with he and CM Punk nose to nose, I really liked that. I thought that was well done.
And of course, that makes for an interesting I keep going back to interesting. I wouldn't say super compelling. It felt like a kind of like catch of loose ends, kind of holdover. And the best part about Punk and LA Knight versus the Usos was LA Knight stealing the pin. Stealing the pin in this
you're back to the end of the show again.
Yeah. But so that's kind of how it began. We'll cover some other pieces there.
Yeah.
But the show opens with Roman Reigns, who's not been very present on a lot of television for WWE recently. He showed up last week. He opens the show. And certainly the Dallas crowd, very, very excited to see him. Huge star, but still the part-time player. And they were chanting for him. It felt special for Dallas.
Did you notice, by the way, the fans are singing the same melody that they sing, Cody Rhodes. This time is Roman. You got to change the tune.
And I'll say this. Are you over part-time Roman Reigns?
I don't know how part-time he's going to be right now. I think right now they're bringing him back because they need him on that show. They need him to tie several angles together. So no, I'm not over Roman Reigns at this point. Right now, he's considered the line of the super talents like The Rock and Stone Cold and Hogan and all that. So I like that they have him back on at this point. Even part-time, full-time, just have him back in there. They needed him.
However you can get him, you know what I mean? Is how it matters. But I'm not taking anything away from him because I still think he's super compelling. And when he's in the ring, it matters. And when he talks, it matters. But can I say this, though? I've never felt when he was in the ring, I didn't feel this like, "Ooh, what's he gonna say?" thing. Like I wasn't waiting on his very word. Out comes Bronson Reed before he can get going, and then Heyman really carries the segment and hammers down the nails of the storyline, and he's the guy who really makes the segment move in terms of talking on the microphone and lays up some big things here. We're getting an Australian street fight. That's what they set up here between Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns. Now, Bronson Reed had the match of his career with Roman. All right.
Yeah.
So he's facing he's beat the biggest win of his career, clearly yet. Biggest win he's had yet, defeating Roman Reigns. Now they're doing an Australian, at least in his general region of the world, an Australian street fight coming up here this weekend at Perth.
Now, did you notice?
The build of this show, a lot of people saying it just feels rushed. There are too many premium live events. I didn't mind this because this was where they were going already.
To that. But did you notice the absence of Braun Breaker? And they didn't even mention him on the show this time. He took a pin last week, which is very unusual for somebody that's going to is predicted to be, Mr. WrestleMania in the next coming years. But they didn't even mention Braun Breaker tonight at all.
No, they didn't, which was interesting.
Maybe because I don't believe he's slated to be in Australia.
Well, I mean, how many that's another thing about these premium live events now. People saying, "Oh, you want me to pay $30, right?" And you're not bringing all the talent on the show, but you also can't have all the talent on the show. And Braun is one of those guys, Bronson Breaker, the Bronze, whatever you want to call them, double bronze. They've been featured a lot as a tag team, but I think they're so much more compelling as singles players for me. And I felt that when Braun and Roman were in the ring together as a singles match. I thought and a lot of people saying, "Oh, Braun Breaker is the real guy," but Bronson Reed has more experience. His pacing is a little bit better. He knows how to visualize where he needs things to be
more realistic to me. Braun Breaker, I think, is really, really good, but he's still got a little ways to go before he's a little bit of fine.
Oh no, he's gonna get there. I mean, he stays healthy. He's gonna become a huge superstar, and I know, especially a lot of younger male wrestling fans, I think are sinking their teeth into what could happen with Braun Breaker.
Absolutely. All right, let's go on with the show.
We go on with the show. We get into Asuka, and she is abusing her entire tutelage of Japanese wrestling students backstage. I enjoy the segments where they go in and out of Japanese and English because I think that's legitimately how they would talk.
Yeah, she's so good. She's so animated. The part with her and Adam Pearce, I thought was great. But I can't get enough of her. It's serious, but it's almost comedy relief when you see her. You can't not enjoy the way she entertained. She's just really, really. I enjoy watching her.
This sets up a match between Kairi Sane and Io Sky later on the night, and then we get the first of many women's matches.
Yes.
Many women's matches. This is like nearly 30 minutes into the show. We haven't gotten anything in the ring. That opening segment with Roman and Braun, I thought went on and on and on, and that could have been half the time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And maybe that was just the crowd taking it, but that was just my experience at home.
But yeah, we had a lot of women wrestling tonight.
You think too many of the women wrestling tonight? I'm not going to be the guy saying don't give the ladies the time.
But, it's just that they're spotlighting the women and highlighting again for the upcoming, I'm going to call it a pay-per-view.
Want to hear from you guys as well. Let me know what you thought. What was your match of the night? What did you enjoy? Get those super chats in, by the way. We'll get you right here on screen as well with us. So this is a match that's been building for a while, kind of like a holdover program. An interesting dynamic here of Becky Lynch, the women's intercontinental champion, tangling with someone whose entire character in Maxine Dupree is, I'm new to pro wrestling, but I'm in the #1 pro wrestling company in the world. And this character of the most improved wrestler recently is kind of compelling. And I felt the crowd in Dallas get behind Maxine. And every time Maxine in these big singles matches, they give her. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
She flubbed a few spots, but I forgive her for that. I think she looked fabulous. I think
Yes.
her ring work has improved incredibly good, and you could hear the fans between when the commercials were
Mhm.
done yelling out, "This is awesome! This is awesome!" They put on one hell of a match. She has become. I predict she could long way down the road, but she even looks like her at times to to become on the level of a Charlotte Flair. I really think she can get there.
I had some like Trish Stratus vibes, where you had somebody who came from like the fitness model world and then over time adapted to pro
Mhm.
wrestling and was able to work on the finesse. But I mean, also Becky Lynch really had an interesting thing where her hubris cost her the match. There was some near falls and then a count out.
Oh,
This
oh,
yeah,
oh, what? Stop the show here. You know what? I want to, and I believe this was the same referee that screwed up the Nia Jax pin. I think it was the same referee. Correct me, fans, if I'm wrong.
Jessica
But
Carr.
yeah, but three
Hmm.
when she counted three when Maxine had Becky Lynch down. There was no doubt in my mind that she counted three. The fans there were, Maxine was like, she watched the replay or whatever, but I was shocked that they just let that go like that. It's the same referee.
I'm going to tell you this, Bill. There's a lot more going on with that referee than maybe fans can see right now.
Maybe
That
there's an angle going on because she also,
she was in the face of Becky Lynch. They got in each other's face during the match. The
well, not
referee and
only
Becky
that,
Lynch.
well, I think Becky was talking to her and telling her what to do. That's what I think was happening. But later on in the evening, in the tag team match, do they not do disqualifications anymore? When Asuka interfered in the match, the referee blatantly, the same Jessica Carr, saw what happened, and she could have called for a disqualification as soon as Asuka touched um, one of the opponents, but she
Mhm.
didn't. She let her go. So maybe they're
Yes.
doing a Danny Davis bad guy, bad girl referee angle. You think so?
Well, here's the thing. Jessica Carr, before she was a referee for WWE, and she became one of the first female full-time referees they pulled up, one of the first. They've had some in the past, by the way. So don't I know some people are claiming this is the first one or whatever, but not the point. I mean, this is somebody who had indie reps, has been around the wrestling business since 2010. All right. And there was some reports of Jessica working under a mask at some WWE event. She worked for the Evolve brand, which is under WWE's banner,
I've heard
as
this too.
Calyx, a character named Calyx. So maybe I'm revealing some things there. And, there's been some rumblings of that. And that maybe they would want to pull the trigger and introduce a new female character in a very different way. And doing that they've never done that, where you take a referee and turn that. They had, I know Miss Jacqueline was a referee for a while, but I think that was more of just like a pop culture
Yeah,
spin
but
on
this goes
the
way
NBA.
back.
The NBA at the time had, female referees introduced
Yeah,
into the
yeah, this goes
NBA.
way
WWE
back
was
to
the,
like
like
when
hot
Danny
topic.
Davis was a bad guy referee. I'd
Yeah.
like to see that, but yeah, that it kind of disturbed me because I think the fans in Dallas also thought that Maxine won the title. And she did count to three. And again, you can check it. Let's move on to the next segment, Kevin.
Absolutely. Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyrie. This is set up with a pre kind of walkout segment with Bailey, Oddfellows, of course, because Roxanne and her heavy, Raquel Rodriguez, have been banging down on Bailey. Now Lyra and Bailey weren't getting along together. Now this is the thing I didn't like this. This is kind of repetitive. It was just like an inverse of the men and the women. There's a
I thought
weird,
the
odd
same thing.
couple pairing of Bailey and Lyra. And now here's we don't get along, but here's an odd couple pairing of Punk and Knight. They weren't delivered the same way, but we get this match that Bailey called a future WrestleMania main event between Roxanne Perez and Lyra. I thought this was
Um,
fine, but it was so much more about what happened outside of the ring and the interference. And then the ending is Roxanne Perez steals one,
yeah,
and Bailey is trying to call the shots on Lyra. Another veteran wrestler trying to tell young Lyra Valkyria what to do. I
I
didn't like this. Too much going on.
I just Pat, you know what? I watched it, but I just kind of I couldn't keep my mind attentive to this match. It's happened too many times.
Yeah. Other people confirming for us. Yeah, I believe that Jessica Carr was that referee and that Nia
Yeah,
Jax
yeah,
reference.
yeah. By the way, again, if you have super chats, pop them in so we can get you on the screen here.
I'll give WWE credit for this, promoting Crown Jewel this weekend, which is coming up on Saturday from Perth, Australia. SmackDown will be there and Raw will be there, so they'll have a special start time for Raw next week. But they noted that the Crown Jewel event will get this starting at your time, 8 a.m. Eastern, Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time for me in the Midwest. And then if you're on the West Coast, go to bed early on Friday night because they're starting at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, maybe for the fans in Europe and obviously our home base of Sportskeeda in India, they like that timing, all right, because that puts it in prime time for most of those foreign markets. This is truly WWE being a global product now with streaming. They're in all these different markets now with Netflix.
They're everywhere, and not only that. And again, we need to get back to the show here, but the talent where people used to complain that it's an easy, not complain, they used to give thumbs up that it was an easy schedule in WWE sometimes because they had cut out the spot shows, but now they're going all over the world. What time is it and what part of the world are we at? My goodness. Anyway, let's move on with some more of the segments, Kev.
CM Punk opens up the top of the next hour, an hour in which Roman Reigns said that Jey Uso had to get out there, and eventually he did with LA Knight interrupting CM Punk, who made some references to Pee-wee's Playhouse, which I thought was pretty cool. And Punk saying he wasn't on television the past 2 weeks so that he could allow Cody Rhodes to really dial into the present, always thorn in CM Punk's side, Seth Rollins, and their champion versus champion match that they're going to do this week. And so this one really builds to what we get in the main event later on in the night. But the line of this segment, though, was CM Punk insulting Jey Uso and calling him Little Roman. I love that line.
Did, but there's something I wanted to happen here that did not happen.
What's that?
And I don't know if they're ever going to pull the trigger on this. In AEW, the match that the fans craved was Cody Rhodes against CM Punk. I thought when Punk was talking about Cody, that he was going to go and say that he would challenge the winner of maybe the Seth Rollins Cody match, but just blatantly somehow give a thought about I'd like to wrestle Cody down the road, which I think would be absolutely something that fans would be blown away with, that match. Why haven't they done? Why are they not even teasing anything like that at this point?
There's so many more big matches for Cody and specifically for Punk. He has unfinished stuff with Seth Rollins. You got him tangled with them. I do feel like you could do Punk versus Cody at WrestleMania next year. I think
okay, book it.
WrestleMania match.
Book it.
I love it. Yeah, it's happening down the line. I think we're getting that match down the line. So the little Roman thing is happening. They're getting under Jey Uso's skin. They're getting under Jimmy Uso's skin as well. And Roman seems to be instigating them with 2 separate backstage segments tonight to keep Roman an active part of a long show. You mentioned this was a long show. Yeah. It was. A lot of talky on this show, by the way. I think we only got one match in like the first hour and a half, it felt like. But these 2 women's matches kind of keep it going and moving. I didn't love either one of them, but the talking segments I enjoyed more.
No, I did like the Maxine.
No, I did enjoy it until the ending. Yeah. The ending was serviceable because it made Becky Lynch super upset that she even lost to someone she feels it's beneath her. And that kind of slingshots Maxine into some like mounted credibility. She didn't get a pinfall victory, and a count out victory. Good. So I didn't have, it's just that natural, I want to pin, like that feeling,
Yep.
So we get video packages promoting the match that we haven't talked about yet, but we will be talking about plenty tomorrow because we will be back here tomorrow for Unscripted with a full, real depthful breakdown of what is going on with Crown Jewel. If you're not subscribed already to WrestleBinge here on Sportskeeda's YouTube presence, subscribe, turn that notification on. We will go live. We'll take your questions. We're going to take a bunch of questions tomorrow. But they bring up video packages to promote this match that is seemingly just put together because fans wanted it. That's the point. And it's true. This was a match when they announced John Cena's farewell tour.
Flashy,
this was maybe the first or one or two matches that fans wanted. We're getting AJ Styles versus John Cena and John Cena's big farewell tour. I did like the point that they pointed out that John Cena could potentially win his 100th premium live event pay-per-view match against Styles. Styles, he had some comments. We'll talk about him later on the night. He was in a 6-man tag team match. It was put together in a backstage fracas with Dirty Dominic.
The production of all the packages leading up to Crown Jewel in Perth were extremely well produced. Very, very ESPN-like.
Very centered on sports. You win, I lost. Talk some trash. Not hoopla, but dialed in. Very dialed in. I didn't mind the presence of fans wanted this. We're giving it to them, which I think they kind of need to do more because there's so much more with this John Cena farewell thing that like they tried the heel turn. It simply didn't click. No. It was a wild moment to see. It didn't click over time because I don't think enough fans wanted to just simply boo John Cena on the way out, but they wanted to do something different they've never done with John before. All right, you tried it, but now it's got to be, you only have a handful of dates with him left. How many actual matches is he going to work before he's done? Maybe at most 2 or 3 more, like at the most, right? And so you have all that with him. But now you have him in there with someone that people really, really wanted once this was announced over a year ago that he would do this tour, and AJ Styles. I've heard Tommy Dreamer today go on the record over on the Busted Open saying that people that don't think you're going to get a great match, I think you're going to get a great match.
It's going to be fabulous. You have 2 people here who are going to wrestle with each other. AJ Styles is going to bring out the best of John Cena and vice versa. All right, back to the show.
Back to the show. I'm of the opinion when we're talking about video packages and different stuff like that, it doesn't have the feeling of a great build. Like, oh wow, I gotta watch. Right? I want to have that feeling of I gotta watch, but it's not bad either. I know everyone goes from these extremes of it's either the best or it's the worst, and like to me, this is just solid. But for me though, this is your second event on ESPN here in the United States. I want to have I gotta see what happens on Saturday feeling.
It was soft. It was it was very classy, very well done. But the wrestling fan, how can I say this? The wrestling fan doesn't generally want that.
They want the bite. They want to sink their teeth into something.
Blood and guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want blood and guts. So we get Io Sky and Kairi Sane. I like this match. Io taking a wild bump on the apron with her head that looked really nasty. I thought this was the best match of the night.
I agree.
I thought it had the best psychology. It had the best storyline. Kairi Sane, for someone who doesn't speak English as her first language, is so expressive. I don't know what it is about Asuka and Io and these 3 women from Japan. They were so expressive. I thought WWE did Joe Tessitore and Barrett did a great job of hammering down the history that these 3 know each other oh so well. And Asuka is the older sister. She is the mother hen of this group, and she calls the shots. And Kairi's only doing this because the senior told her to, and that respect within the culture. I love that.
Just working off each other like what you will do when you do your comedy stuff. It's almost like they're doing an improvisation. They're told where to go with this, and they know where to go, and they know how to do it.
And to me, I hear some people say, "Oh, they're not great on the microphone, or they're not this." I don't buy that because it's just they know enough English and they're so expressive. They get enough of it out, and I can ride with it, and I'm on board with it. And when you can watch someone tell a story with the sound off, that's something else. Like that is something very, very specific. I thought they beat the snot out of each other. I thought Kairi didn't want to do the spinning back fist at the end. And Asuka held her up and said, "You're doing it. We're beating her down. You're doing this." And that dynamic I thought was really interesting. I thought that was some of the best storytelling of the night. And especially in the absence of Rhea Ripley, who's as they said on the show, she's overseas. She's not here to help out Io Sky against these two women. She's overseas,
which means we were ready for her to do a run-in, but it didn't happen.
No. And of course they beat down on her. I enjoyed this one.
No, and I agree that match was probably the best match of the night.
More talkie. We got a whole lot of talkie on this show. Seth Rollins backstage with Paul Heyman. And
Becky.
And Becky, who's losing her mind, saying she has to get her mind off things, so they're not going to have her at Crown Jewel. She said she won't be there.
Yeah. Seth didn't care.
No.
He was focused on his watch.
Yes, time is ticking for him on Saturday. He will take on Cody Rhodes. They had a big feud. Cody's first big return feud to WWE was with him. And Cody got the best of him. And Cody has always gotten the best of Seth. And now you have that eating at Seth Rollins. And he says point blank, what if I don't beat him? Which I thought was an interesting kind of show your cards thing. Then Paul Heyman gets brought in. And Paul Heyman's like, that's not going to happen. What are you talking about? And then he's kind of going at it with Paul. And then Paul's like, why would I pick you if you weren't going to be the winner? So it was an interesting thing. Like, Heyman's always the one who's hammering down the nail and let someone else be the sauce. But this was interesting here. Writing this down, this may feel rushed, but this adds some clever doubt to me about.
I didn't think it was rushed at all. I thought the segment was.
Most of the matches on Crown Jewel
feel rushed. It made me wonder what Paul E's involvement will be in that match. And I think it's going to, whatever they're planning with Paul E, is going to decisively have Seth Rollins lose that match. It's going to backfire.
Once again, if you're with us, fire off your super chats and get on. I want to know what you're thinking with Crown Jewel. Are you sold on the show? Are you not sold on the show? Are you just kind of like in the middle? Maybe SmackDown will sell you on this show. Want to know your take. Obviously, people asking, Vince Russo, Dr. Chris, don't worry. Just on vacation. They'll be back. We're just keeping the seat hot for them while they're gone. But Bill and I will be back tomorrow as well for Unscripted, running down the entire angle here with Paul Heyman.
We're going to pick our winners and our losers tomorrow night.
Absolutely. The Vision, though, this faction is involved with big-time players. You have Rollins tangling with Cody Rhodes. You have Rollins tangling with CM Punk. You have Bronson Reed tangling with Roman Reigns in some of the biggest matches. But the collective of this group, which also brings in Becky Lynch here, and they did some big things, and they lost the last match. Is this faction still an interesting act? To me, it just feels like a hodgepodge of different things, and Paul Heyman's the talking piece, and I don't want to feel like that.
Part of the faction that has not been very active on the roster at all is Jacob Fatu. We had him pegged in the, part of the Samoan family. We had him pegged as like the main event guy that was going to be possibly be in Roman Reigns level, so to say. It hasn't happened. So yeah, I see what you're talking about. That I don't know if that the whole Vision thing is, I don't know, it just doesn't seem together. And I'm waiting for Jacob Fatu to come back in and cause trouble or something with this whole Samoan faction.
He's going to be busy with Drew McIntyre for a while. I don't think that's going to be.
Yeah, that's not moving me.
You don't think it's moving you?
No, I think Drew McIntyre is fabulous.
No.
I think that Jacob Fatu is fabulous, but I just don't think this feud has grabbed everybody like it should.
Too many factions in WWE? A Vision?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right.
And too many pull-aparts.
A lot of pull-aparts recently.
A lot of pull-aparts, and poor Adam Pearce.
He's pulling apart everybody.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of those. But we had a backstage situation setting up another match later on in the night. Common Wrestling 101. Not saying it's wildly creative ways to set up a match, but an interesting thing nonetheless. as you have Judgment Day, whose Dirty Dom loves to do his little ageism. The last great ism that is available to anyone in entertainment is saying, you're bad just because you've been alive longer than me. Right. And Dirty Dom, with his mega championship that he sleazed his way into, along with the Intercontinental Championship that he sleazed his way into, along with the Judgment Day of JD McDonough and Finn Balor, the WWE Tag Team Champs, walks up to AJ Styles, just 5-6 days away from him facing John Cena in a very important match, and takes that road. Then they set up a 6-man tag match. I like this one. I wanted more of this match, but maybe if they had a little bit more time. Did not feel this was better than Io Sky and Kyrie early on in the night, but did love the dynamic. It did have that fun part where they went to commercial.
It did heat up LA Knight being angry at everybody. I think we've got a super chat here.
Yeah, I did bring up how I thought the match of the night was Io Sky and Kyrie Sane. Roland Curtis, who's always been supportive of the channel. Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you, Roland. Roland says, I know you guys said Sky versus Sane was the match of the night. I said that. Bill didn't say that. But wasn't the ending botched? The most overused word in wrestling vernacular. It looked like a double pin with Zayn's back flat to the mat and Asuka pressed Zayn's shoulders onto the mat. It wasn't a botched pin. It was a stolen pin. So basically, Asuka outside of the ring, away from the view of the referee, was able to help.
Could have been a DQ. The referee, originally, when Asuka got up on the ring there, she should have been disqualified. They don't disqualify anyone anymore. And did you notice, by the way, just going back with this referee in the Becky Lynch countout, that the referee earlier in that segment was counting 1, 2, but when she got to 8 and she saw Becky out and Maxine in, she went 8, 9, 10. That was it. Sorry.
And also, Becky Lynch referenced that backstage quite a bit. Yes, brought up the referees. I do think you will. Jessica Carr is going to wrestle a match within the next calendar year.
I agree. Now, what is Rollins saying here?
Roland saying, I know you guys said that Sky versus Zayn was the match of the night, but wasn't the ending botched. I wasn't botched. The referee didn't see Asuka cheating. I don't know if that exactly was projected. We had a lot of dusty finishes tonight with people cheating to win matches. Wrestling heels do that, especially on televised weekly wrestling shows. Absolutely. It looked like a double pin with Zayn's back flat to the mat. I didn't get that impression. It struck me more as like one of those double where you roll over with someone and you're kind of like your neck is down, your shoulders aren't down, and it's who the referee sees first. They're going to start counting that pin. And pressed Asuka's Asuka pressed Zayn's shoulders into the mat. I didn't get that impression.
That's
that was
Terry Kane, everybody, not Sammy.
It's not Sammy. Not
Don't confuse it.
So back to the match. So thank you so much, Roland. If you guys want to get your super chats on screen, go ahead, jump in there, and let's hear them. Want to hear your take? If there's something else going on in wrestling you guys want to get on, we want to hear from you. Let me know. 6-man tag team match, though. I want to talk about the 6-man tag team match here.
Yeah.
I thought AJ Styles looked really good. I thought the right guy got the pinfall. Maybe you don't want to have Dirty Dom get pinned if he's the mega champ and the IC champ right now, and you got so much invested on someone pinning him in a big match scenario. Finn Balor still feels like a guy who could be revved up at any point. Sorry, JD McDonough, you are the mechanic in this team. You take the bumps. He nearly got his knee cracked in half by Dragon Lee with that dragon screw in the corner. That looked brutal.
The match had a very AAA feel to it.
It did. It did have a AAA feel to it. As I'm having lighting go off.
As we're having a technical problem here.
Yeah, no, there we are.
But once again, I think at the end, the way that LA Knight stole the pin there with he and Punk, the animosity is so between the three of them with Uso, Punk, and LA Knight. The animosity between the three of them is something that we're going to deal with down the line. That why they haven't gotten a triple threat match with some sort of special rules, it's got to be coming up.
Absolutely. Now, AJ Styles wanted to say something before this 6-man tag team match and just tell you how great him and John Cena is going to be. And he finally got to do that. He got on the commentary table, and it was plain and simple. I like this line. It doesn't need a big story. It writes itself. Yeah. And I was like, you're not wrong. I don't know if everyone would love that idea, But the history that these guys had, they had some of the best matches in mid 2010s WWE. Their 2016 SummerSlam match is one of my favorite. AJ Styles, John Cena matches. Especially when you're starting to look at John Cena's big matches of his career, and he's wrapping it. Like, I'm thinking that's one of the best people he's had singles matches too, by the way.
Yeah, definitely.
And now he does it right himself. And he also hammers this down. It will kick ass. He almost said this is going to be the match of the night on Saturday.
It can't not be. You've got two guys that we're going to be. Let me ask you a question though. In the final match on SmackDown tonight, who did you feel came across? You've got old baby faces there. Who do you feel came across?
Babyface. Let's get in a gray area with some of those players.
Who did you feel with the Usos against Punk and LA Knight? Who do you feel came out more of a bad guy in that match than anyone else? I thought it was Jey Uso.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the interesting dynamic of everyone's, why don't they just turn him heel? It's a fickle thing. You don't tell stories the same way you did in 1989. You have so much television. So the book has to be a lot thicker before you get that real chapter ending thing. And then we're on to the next. So it's a bit drawn out, I think, for some people in terms of what's happening with Jey, but he's an off the script player. I do like what Jey does with his dialect. He doesn't feel like he's an on the script guy.
The fans are so confused during that match of who to cheer for.
They weren't quiet though.
No.
Can't say they were quiet. They weren't sitting on their hands. It didn't neutralize the audience because they popped big when LA Knight's entrance got cut off by CM Punk. They popped big once CM Punk got in the match. They popped big when they were like chopping each other for tag teams in and out, right? So that dynamic was played there. But to me, LA Knight stealing the pin makes it interesting. Yes, Punk wants to get back in there with Rollins, but does he have to deal with LA Knight first?
Years ago, Jimmy and Jey Uso wrestled each other in a match that was horrid. It was a bomb.
The WrestleMania 41?
Yeah. I think now that they may be going toward that again somehow to make up for that WrestleMania 41. I think the two of them could have a really good match at this point.
I just don't know if they can do it on their own. And I think they're going to need Roman to get there.
Special referee.
Or a triple threat.
Yeah. Well, triple threat, Roman's going to win.
Does he have to? No.
Yeah. Yes.
No. Here, I'm going to say this, and this isn't like the anti-Roman thing. A part-time guy, he's Roman. He's certified. He's at that top tier. He's not going to lose it. You know what I mean? When he got pinned, it was such a big deal. When he got pinned by Jey Uso in that tag team match. And the lead up to that, and then they just, pulled the plug on it. And by the, end of the summer, Jimmy was back being, the henchman again.
Yeah.
And Jey stayed on his own.
Yeah.
You can play on all of that history. To me, Roman's never been a clean-cut babyface for the past 5 or 6 years. Jey was. I'm eating with the kids. I'm doing all the different things. I'm trying to be the player, but here's Roman getting my ear saying, "Oh, you're not the guy. You're just little. You're like," they're putting that chip back on his shoulder. And Jimmy is being told like, "Hey, get out of his way and let him be the guy." And Jimmy's like, "No, why can't I be the guy?" So you have all these kind of like interpersonal dynamics that I think are making it interesting. You're not doing it with Paul Heyman. You're basically doing bloodline without the bloodline, and they're all individual people racing to a finish. I think it's much more compelling if we get a triple threat out of all three of them.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know what I'd like to see? Some sort of an angle where Paul Heyman goes back and gets Roman Reigns again and pairs him up with Seth Rollins. And we have the two of them. Yeah.
2-man power trip.
Yeah.
And then maybe that makes the vision a little bit more threatening.
Perhaps. But anyway, I'm looking forward to talking with you tomorrow night and going over. We'll do our predictions on Unscripted at 11 p.m. Eastern time right here on Wrestle Binge.
For the people that are watching on demand or listening on demand, want to know what you think. If you're not catching us live, I still want to hear from the fans who aren't with us live. What did you think of SmackDown this week? Starting to go up against football. They're making some different changes. This was a long show. I didn't love it in terms of hammering down things for Crown Jewel, but overall, I thought it was a pretty strong show.
We're talking about Monday Night Raw.
Excuse me, Bill. I'm sorry. What?
You said SmackDown. It was
I did
Monday
say
Night
SmackDown.
Raw.
Monday Raw. All right. So I thought this was a strong episode of Raw. Sorry for the mistake there. Not
That's
a big
okay.
people, but someone tell that maybe they didn't like SmackDown either. Who knows? To me, I liked Raw. I'm getting used to the weird Netflix changes. I know they've been on Netflix since January, but there's still just something odd about firing up Netflix and the way the breaks happen, and they still are getting used to that. I think maybe Netflix is getting more used to WWE in general. But I want to know what did you think of it overall on a scale of 1 to 10? I thought this was a solid 6.5, maybe just a 6 of a show.
I give it a 6.
Yeah, it was a right down the middle. The thing is, I think you want an 8 or a 9 when you're going into a pay-per-view. You really want oh, wow, I got to see what's going to happen.
And again, it is a pay-per-view because it's going to cost you. I'm wondering, some fan asked me, and I said, I don't know the answer to this. Can you get ESPN Plus for the pay-per-view and then cancel it the next day, and then the next time they have a pay-per-view, sign up again and keep doing it that way?
But at this rate, you'd be paying $30 a month anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're doing that for every pay-per-view, you're paying $30 every time.
True. They should make it on a single pay-per-view basis for fans who
if you wanted to. If you just wanted to buy it.
There's also fans that don't have the whole setups of electronic media that most of us do. What about those fans? How do they get to watch it?
Like I said, there's going to be a lot of people getting VPNs and watching this on Netflix and other parts of I've talked to people about it, and I haven't done it myself. I haven't pulled the trigger. But I mean, if you have a cable package, if you have a cable subscription, most of them, you will get ESPN through that.
Mine
ESPN.
doesn't. I'm on Xfinity. They're not partners with them.
But I was about to say that Comcast Xfinity, which is one of the biggest cable systems in the country in the United States, is the one that doesn't offer it.
Yeah, we do not have it. Now,
other people are not happy about it.
They also, WWE TKO has a deal with Fandango, and I was wondering if they were going to put the PLEs in the movie theaters as well. So if you don't get ESPN Plus on your cable system, you can go to the movie theater and watch.
I don't think it'll be this one because the show starts at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? I don't think you're going to open up a movie theater for people to watch.
No. All right, Double
They did with Clash, though. They did do it with Clash. It was there were a lot of AMC theaters near me that were running it, and I heard some people enjoy the experience.
I heard it's really good. So where can people find you on social media before we go?
Sure, you can follow me on Instagram at KevKellam6. That's at KevKellam6. If you follow Sportskeeda Wrestling on Instagram, I'm on a lot of those videos. You'll see me with a green screen. I actually film it in the room where I am now. I'm in NBC Tower. Owned by one of WWE's many media partners.
Yeah, which is great.
And you can hear me on the radio. I'm on the radio in Minneapolis on 93X weeknights. I'm actually pre-recorded tonight so that we could be here. And then you can also hear me on Q101, Chicago's alternative rock radio station. And that isn't enough. I will get a super chat in here before we sign off. If you guys got super chats and you want to get them in now before we sign off. You can also follow me on Instagram because I'm putting out my first stand-up comedy special. I do stand-up when I'm not doing this. I'm literally going to go to an open mic and I'm going to be there until 1 o'clock in the morning tonight just to do 2 new minutes of stuff. But my new comedy special is coming out. It's called Kevin and Hell instead of Heaven and Hell. Isn't that clever, Bill? Didn't I do a spin?
I think that's great. I think that's great.
Yes. Your mortal fate on the other side of life is awaiting you. Roland Curtis is very, 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 very supportive of the channel. You guys can get your super chats in here as well for the legendary Bill Apter. And we'll be doing some more tonight on Unscripted. That's the whole show, by the way, is Unscripted. Is your questions are
tomorrow
answers.
Night, 11 p.m. Eastern time.
Roland goes, WWE uploaded the Io Sky versus Kairi Sane match on YouTube. They removed the pinfall out of the video. Okay, so a lot more people getting dusty about this pinfall. Is it something where I just didn't notice it? I just thought it was Asuka trying to cheat to help Kairi win the match. I think the ending was botched and WWE deleted it. I didn't notice that. I didn't feel it was. Maybe other people are like this with these dusty finishes and stuff like that. So thank you for the support, especially Roland. You're very, very supportive.
You can follow me at Apter One Wrestling on Twitter. And by the way, this weekend I will be in Albany, New York, as one of the 3 hosts of the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, along with Mac Davis and Dave LaGreca. And we're inducting Trish Stratus, Rocky Johnson, the unpredictable Johnny Rods, and a whole host of others. So if you're interested in coming to the banquet and my surprise birthday party that I know about up there.
It doesn't make it a surprise, Bill.
Yeah. Oh, I'm practicing. Oh my God. Yes, my surprise birthday party. Go to just Google International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and hopefully I'll see you up there. Double K, this was a pleasure. I enjoyed it.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow night. And for those who are all concerned, don't worry. Vince Russo, the bro of bros himself, Vince Russo and Dr. Chris will return. Don't worry. We're just keeping the seat hot for them. For everything wrestling, it's sportsketawrestling.com. Excuse me, sportsketa.com if you just want that. Sportsketa /WWE if you just want the specifics of it. Get our app, by the way. If you get the app, you get everything on the app as well. So a lot of great things here. A lot of content, by the way, on WrestleBinge that you can check out. If you're already here on the channel, check out the different stuff they're doing. The Wrestling Time Machine with Mr. Apter there, and the Hall of Famer Teddy Long, all right? And also, right with Russo, Vince Russo going even deeper into specific storylines and different topics in the world of wrestling. Thank you guys so much for the support. We'll see you tomorrow night.
And we'll see you at the matches.
I have one question, though, before we sign off, Bill.
What's that?
Critical question.
Yeah.
You've been following this wrestling thing a long time, right?
Yeah.
Some people tell me that this wrestling is fixed.
Double K?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was broken.
You didn't know it was broken. Get the book!
10 years ago, this month, this beautiful book came out, and you can still get it in Barnes & Noble, your favorite bookstores. You can go to Amazon and get it and find out, is wrestling fixed? I didn't know it was broken. Story of my continuing 50 plus years in pro wrestling, and I'm only 40, so how does that work?
You're younger than me?
I am. And we're out of here.
We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow night.